6% of San Diego County is African American. San Diego County, not the city, just the county. And it's just kind of recently dawned on me that there is no place for us here, which is very sad to say, but the place wasn't built for us. It was built by us, but it wasn't built for us.
It's hard. You kind of like walk on eggshells because you can't give 100% of yourself. You only give like 50%.
I just never really felt like I fit in.
I was used to being the only Black coach that's in this professional coaches alliance.
I didn't see anyone that looks like me here.
I didn't even know there was a Black LGBT community in San Diego.
It was hard to find people who represented me, the community or my color.
I don't know where we are. I don't know where we hang out.
We do have a big, large LGBT community here in San Diego. They just have nowhere to congregate. They have nowhere to go.
Hello?
Okay, let's say I did want to snoop. What exactly would I be looking for?
Signs of obvious gayness. Start with photos. Are there any framed pictures? If so, do they feature mostly shirtless male friends?
No, it's like mostly family stuff.
Coming out for me was a very interesting process. I come from a unique family background. Me and my mother are very close. We kind of speak to each other in a way that most people would not. So it wasn't ever really an issue of coming out. It was more like me internally trying to get comfortable with the idea of being gay, right? Like, okay, I'm gay. I know I'm gay. I'm fine with that. And then it was like, okay, well, when do you want to come out? So one day she was washing dishes and I was just sitting there. I was like, Mom, I'm gay.
When I was in high school, of course I had Omarion and Marcus Houston and Beyonce posters on my wall. So I think my parents, I haven't officially come out, but they know. There have been times where I am maybe a little tipsy and ready to tell my parents. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna tell them, I'm officially come out, why not? And then I don't ever get to it. But there are also times where I stop myself and I'm like, well, I kind of always wanted to come out to my parents, like with somebody, like with, my person, but I haven't found a person yet either, so.
I came out to my mom and my sisters probably a few years ago. Actually recently just came out to my dad this year. My mom and dad lived together, so it's like this secret that my mom had for a few years. And my mom absolutely loves me. There's no question about it. My dad, he is a church goer to the max, man of faith. And so telling him was, I wanted to make sure that I told him for the right reason. I always thought it's like, I'm gonna be in a relationship. And when I decide that this is my person, I'm gonna tell him. And I thought I'd found my person, and then we ended up breaking up. And through that process, I realized I needed to come out to him, not for anyone else. It had to be something that I wanted to do. So I did it over Zoom, so COVID, Zoom dinner, and he took it better than I expected, but kind of along the lines of like, hate the sin, don't hate the person.
I was on tour with a performing group in 1988 and people were talking about coming out to their parents. And so I thought, well, when we get back to California, I'm gonna come out to my mom. My father had passed away in 1981. So my mother at that point became mom, dad, and best friend. So I wrote this letter and I got back to California and got to her house, and I had my own key. So I went upstairs to the bedroom and I said, Mom, and she was startled when I woke her up. She goes, baby, what are you doing here? And so, we finished tour and I just wanted to see you and I have something I need to tell you. And she sits up and I reach in my pocket and I take out this note. I got one word out of Mom and the tears. And she put her hand on my leg and she says, baby, you're gay. I knew it from day one. I don't mind. I love you. You're my son. And I went, but Mom, I have a whole speech prepared. Like, you ruined my coming out. She goes, okay, baby, let me go to the bathroom, and when I come back out, you can read your damn speech. So she came out, and I was able to read my coming out speech to her.
What brought me to San Diego, I was following one of my best friends from San Francisco in 1982. I went to San Francisco when I was 19 in 1970, and I had been there almost 10 years, and my life was unraveling. It was during the 70s, and there was so much going on. So it was just crazy. So my girlfriend and I came down here, and I must say, when I got off the bus, it was like coming to a whole new place. It was so beautiful and so sunny. Because in San Francisco, it was always rainy and cloudy, and it's just dark. So that was the first thing I noticed, how bright it was, which scared me because I was a nighttime girl. So I didn't want to be on the daytime, because part of my coming up as a trans woman in the 60s and 70s was that, we were trying to become our authentic selves, because the only thing I knew about was that I always felt female, although I was assigned male at birth. So I set out to find out how I can make that happen by any means necessary. So what I found was the nighttime life of that type of community. So that's where I lived. And San Diego had theirs as well, downtown on Market Street. That was on Fifth Avenue and Broadway. That's where the pimps and the hookers and the hustlers were, and that's where we were as well. Because there was a black gay bar downtown on Market and 8th called the Golden Eagle, and that was the Black LGBT bar. And this were all the sailors, all the Marines, everybody came. It was like a party every night. So it was a whole different environment, so it was so much fun. The weekends were fabulous. We all get dressed up and we had drag shows and everything. It was fun. That lasted for, I guess, like maybe 82, 83, 84, about 83 to 85, they may have closed. But then by the same token, there was another bar called City Lights that opened on Fifth Avenue. So there was 2 bars downtown. We never even thought about Hillcrest. That was not even in our thought process. We had our bars downtown. And plus there were straight bars downtown. We went in those as well, because it was like it's a whole underground community of like-minded people. Whether they're hustlers, whether they're dope fiends, whether they're tricks, or whether they're our community, are just young LGBT folks trying to find their way and have fun.
One of the first resources that I actually learned about were the clubs. I didn't know anything about the San Diego LGBT Center. The only thing that I knew of was the lesbian club called The Flame. And I would say Saturdays, we call it the Black Night. That's when a lot of the Black people went out, listened to the music of Dallas. She was a famous lesbian DJ. And that's where we would congregate. And that's where we would spend our social time. And then there were house parties. And then on Sundays at Balboa Park, there was a little area where we gathered and socialized. And these were actually Black people of the LGBT community. It was a Sunday, we hang out, they drive their cars, open their cars, play some music. We're sitting out on the grass, having a good time, enjoying the sunshine, just being around people that look like you, that love like you, and having that essence that, we are beautiful Black people. You know what I mean? And then for a while, they actually had another club called the Whistle Stop, and it was specifically geared to the Black LGBT community. What was really funny about it was a lot of the people that showed up on Saturday nights at the Flame were people that were serving in the military.
Don't ask, don't tell, it's got to go. Hey, hey, whoa, whoa. Don't ask, don't tell, it's got to go. Hey, hey, whoa, whoa. Don't ask, don't tell, it's got to go. Okay. Whoa, whoa. Don't ask, don't tell, it's got to go.
You did not know if someone was a fellow military person. You couldn't really trust them because you didn't know if they would go back and let people know that they saw you in a gay club, because a lot of times it was also witch hunts, where a lot of NSA, the Naval Service Investigation, would frame LGBT people and threaten to court-martial them and give them an honorable discharge out of the military. They would give them a deal. If you let me know who are all the other lesbian or gay people in our company and you point them out to me, right, you can stay in.
Some of you remember I visited Afghanistan just a few weeks ago. And while I was walking along the rope line, there's a big crowd, about 3,000. A young woman in uniform was shaking my hand, and other people were grabbing and taking pictures. She pulled me into a hug, and she whispered in my ear, "Get Don't Ask, Don't Tell done." And I said to her, "I promise you I will. For we are not a nation that says, don't ask, don't tell. We are a nation that says, out of many, we are one. We are a nation that welcomes the service of every patriot. We are a nation that believes that all men and women are created equal. Those are the ideals that generations have fought for. Those are the ideals that we uphold today. And now it is my honor to sign this bill into law."
I was at the Naval Academy when Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed. So when I actually, joined the Navy, I couldn't be openly gay. So even though the policy allowed for us to be, that mindset and that way of thinking and the culture, not necessarily there yet. And I would say, I guess I could also maybe pass. Like, I don't have to, it's not like I'm out, we all wear a uniform. Most people don't know me outside of work. And you get those questions of oh, do you have a boyfriend? And instead of saying, no, I don't have a girlfriend, I would just say no. So there was a sense of not being able that I could fully be myself.
Literally 6 months or so after I had joined, the Don't Ask, Don't Tell got repealed, and then obviously the climate in the military changed because everybody was just okay, cool, we can be out now. And I had identified as trans for a while, even prior to joining the military, so I had to kind of keep that on the hush. And even with Don't Ask, Don't Tell, there was still kind of gray area in the military where it was okay, you can be out, but you couldn't be trans. There was other certain criteria that we had to deal with. So it was liberating, but at the same time, it was I still felt like I had to be kind of in the closet about a lot of things, because the military climate is very, I want to say, masculine based. And obviously, it's harder for males to be gay in that type of environment. It's definitely frowned upon. And later on in my career, after the transgender ban had lifted, I would say that we did have a safe space, because a lot of trans people were coming together to kind of talk about our issues through the military and just navigating this new life in general. So it was kind of rough in the beginning, just figuring out how to navigate my career in this situation when I've been known as a female my entire career, how to go about my name change and how to go about surgeries, how to communicate, this transgender, for lack of a better identity, to those that had known me as a certain person or a certain way. And that was frustrating because a lot of people didn't understand, and you still had to deal with leadership that were old Navy, so to speak. So it definitely was a difficult transition